What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we have EX3 decks to go over. It was release weekend as well as our BT9. So let's dive into this video, discuss 3 amazing Japanese EX3 decks that you might want to be thinking about building in this video. So let's dive into it and talk about it. So first off, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the new on-play when digivolving deck kind of strategy. Hina is basically the bread and butter of this deck. The reason why this deck goes off is start of your turn. If your opponent has a Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. Very easy to achieve this, especially in the BT10 format where you have Shoutmon coming in. You know, they're just playing rushy style gameplay. They're always playing some sort of rookie style game. So this really does give you some advantage here. But when one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with Rock Dragon, Earth Dragon, Machine Dragon, or Sky Dragon in its trait, spend this tamer, activate the when play effect. So basically, you get to go and go ham. This is really interesting because a lot of these effects are really good, but they were always on play. But now it's when digivolving. So that kind of just fixes the issue. I see the reason why for Digimon Emperor, because when an opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from breeding area to the battle area, gain 2 memory. This is strictly to counter the Shoutmon deck, and it's a very smart tech indeed. Hero is just to make our level 5s a little more powerful on the beef swing. So the combo here that I noticed is Gigimon is going to be drawing us the cards with the Gilamon, because they're going to swing in, draw us 2, and it's going to benefit us. The longer that thing lives, the better off we are. So some advantages that way. But we also have, you know, Jasmine here. So your turn, when you once per turn, when you play Hina, gain 1 memory. So it becomes from a 3 cost down to a 2, which really helps out. But all turns, when this Digimon has an on-play effect, this Digimon gains 1000 DP. Makes it a little more tougher for our opponent to remove it off the board. Vorvomon, basically similar thing, but gets to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. Some way of controlling the Shoutmon deck. When attacking, if this Digimon has on play, delete one of your opponent's 3000 DP. This is very useful. We talked about Gilamon. So we have Jazzardmon. So basically, on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 card with Earth, Rock, Bird, Machine, Sky in its traits, and 1 Hina among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. And then all turns, if this Digimon has an on-play effect, gain 1000 DP. Really useful, just gaining that benefit. Growlmon's in here very interestingly. We'll talk about this for future Galamon support too, and that'll be next week. I think I'm going to find us a Galamon deck with the new stuff. When in digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. If no Digimon was deleted, trash 2 cards from both players' decks. Helps mill, cycling out, and does a little crazy thing. But when attacking, by deleting one of your other Digimon, this Digimon gains security +1. So it just applies pressure, and it's just really good. But, I mean, it also allows us to digivolve on our Gilamon for 2, which is really useful. Fleurizamon. So this card, when attacking, if this Digimon has a trait that contains Dragon, Soar, or Ceratopazin, draw a card. Basically, we do play a bunch of Dragons and Soars. This is Lorvoromon. This card is on play, reveal the top 4 cards, add 1 Rock, Earth, Bird, Machine, Sky in its traits, and 1 Hina among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom in any order, and then has the inheritable as long as it has an on play. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP. So it really does help out extend this. But now we have Jazzarichimon, Jazzrichmon. So this is on play, digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then you may play Hina from your hand without paying its memory cost. Really solid tech there. And then your turn, when this Digimon has an on-play in effect, it gains security +1. So what's really nice is once we have 1 Hina out, we can start spamming them, because it doesn't say that you don't have to control. Some of these were always having to be none in control. You get to play it for free. But it's really awesome that now one Hina can guarantee us a multiple Hina turn. So, love Agritamon is on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon 5000 DP and less, then play one Hina from your hand without paying its memory cost. Extending plays, boys and girls. And then, once per turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, if this Digimon has an on-play, gain 1 memory. Very powerful, really strong. And then we have Metallic Dramon. So, de-Digivolve all your opponent's Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 5 or less. If no Digimon was deleted by this effect, you unsuspend this Digimon, can't Digivolve until the end. All your opponent's Digimon, unsuspended Digimon, can't Digivolve until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it basically shuts down Digi-Evolution, which is really powerful. And then opponent's turn, while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gains Blocker and Reboot. So basically making a very powerful threat, and shutting down Digi-Evolution is massive. And it really slows down your opponent extensively. Volcandramon. So this card is on play, delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. If no Digimon was deleted by your opponent by this effect, your opponent can't play Digimon with DP of 5,000 or less until the opponent's end phase. So that means no more searchers, no more anything. Basically shuts them down hard. That's huge. When attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And then we have Doro Brickmon. So it has Rush. So basically, when you hard play this thing, it's gonna swing in that turn. No issues. What's really nasty about it is basically it synergizes with the deck. And the reason for that is on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less for every Digi-Evolution card with this trait containing Dragon, Soar, or Ceratopsin. Ceratopsian. Don't even know what the heck that is. This Digimon has add 2,000 DP to the DP you can choose with this effect. So basically, we're going to put 5 Digimon with different names, by the way, since our deck is all with dragons. It synergizes really nice. We get to put a whole nasty assortment of, effects on this. And then, boom, we're going to do some nasty stuff when we swing. So basically, Digicross 2, 5 cards with different names and traits containing dragon. And then when you would play this card, you may place specific cards from your hand and battle area under it. Each place reduces the play cost. So basically, what he can become is a 3 cost by himself, as long as your opponent doesn't have a way of blocking it. Death Examon, basically here to control board state. We already know what he does. He's just that powerful. He's that good of a card. Fireball, basically delete your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less. If your opponent's Digimon wasn't deleted, draw 2. Helps extend plays. Very powerful deck, and I can't wait to see this thing flesh out near the end of the format. So let's go into my personal favorite, D-Brigade. D-Brigade got some nice support this set. And that comes with the Commandramon here with Decoy for D-Brigade. Basically, he can make it so that if they're targeting him with options, you can just prevent it and go, hey, it ain't or effects. You're not popping that one. I want this one to die. And that's how that's going to go. The new Mishimon's really powerful. Opponent's turn, when one of your D-Brigades and his traits in play, this Digimon gains Reboot while you have another. So basically, as long as we have a secondary one, we'll have a restanding Digimon. So that's really powerful. 2-cross Commandramon, blocker Commandramon. Then we have Commandramon that basically, when dies, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, play 1 Commandramon among them without paying its memory cost, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. The drill. We're going to hit some Commandramons, get them out, cycling more. We have decent, viable targets here. Commandramon, 4 cost. I mean, he's just a 5,000 DP. Sealdramon being Sealdramon blocker. This Sealdramon's really awesome because it has jamming, but also a really nasty inheritable. Your turn, when you play another Digimon with D-Brigade in its traits, that Digimon gains Rush, putting in more pressure than your opponent wants to deal with. Then we do have Cyberdramon from the new EX3. While you have a suspended Tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP, making it really powerful, especially since we'll rest Ryu or Kazu. And now we have some oomph behind our swings. And it keeps our Digimon a little more out of range of our opponent's threats. And then we have Tankdramon here. When Digivolving, reveal 3 cards from your deck. You may play 1 Digimon card with a play cost 5 or less. And with D-Brigade and his traits among them without paying the cost. Trash the remaining cards, so it fuels the graveyard for our Darkdramon plays. But your turn, when one of your Digimon with D-Brigade and his traits attacks, reveal top 2 cards of your deck. You may play one Command-Dramon without paying its play cost. Trash the remaining cards. So it synergizes, fuels in, especially if you combo in right. You could definitely wear this one or even that one. Stack it up, get it ready, go in, apply pressure. So that's just how that's going to go. Mega Dramon's in here to make our level 6s basically blockers. Metal Greymon in here to de-digivolve one of your opponent's threats. Especially helps out with those saver things. You know, Cross Hearts. You're going to de-digivolve that big one. Now they can't, you know, explode and then put them all under the tamer. Now they're one less Digimon, and they're no longer having that. So they only get to save one Digimon instead of that huge stack. And then, you know, what's really nasty about it is if you have a Dragonkin or a Machine in trait, it can attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, applying pressure that way. And then we have Megadramon to help control your opponent's tamers, especially since they have a lot of 3 costs in this game. We can get rid of those play costs for 3s. Those are really useful. Then we have Darkdramon cycling back all lost Command-Dramons, and he has Rush and he can swing in for game. Basically, you need to be at 3 for his activation. This new Darkdramon here is when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into this card by returning up to 5 cards with D-Brigades in his traits from your trash to the top of your deck. For each card return, reduce the Digi-Evolution cost by 1. He basically comes free on his Digi-Evolution. And then your turn, when you play another Digimon with D-Brigade in his trait, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost lower than or equal to that played Digimon's play cost, unsuspending this Digimon. What's really nasty is if you can get him on the board first and then still have resources left over to apply pressure with this thing, now you're just killing a Mega for free. Really powerful, really nasty. Then we have Black War Greymon to help swing into our opponent's tamers and, you know, just kidding. And swing into our opponent's Digimon with Metal Greymon here, but also gets to delete tamers, which does help out because whatever tamer they're trying to play hide and go seek with, you're going to blow it up. And that's really the end goal. New Chaos Dramon. Surprisingly, there hasn't been any like Machine Dramon support here, but Digivolving one of your Machine Dramons on play or when Digivolving, place through up to 3 red or black level 5 cards with Cyborg and traits and different card names from hand or trash under this Digimon as a bottom Digi-Evolution. Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon for each card placed with this effect. So, we have some decent targets. We got Megadramon, Metal Greymon, Megadramon. Each different. They're all going to go underneath. Boom. Your opponent's now at a really bad position. And then all turns when this Digimon would be deleted, return, or return to your hand or deck by trashing 2 level 5s in this Digi-Evolution cards. Prevent it from leaving play. So basically, he stays and sticks on the board longer. Death X, Crossheart, we already know this is basically gets cheaper. Then you do have Ragnar Lordmon. So basically, it's to get you there. And what I mean by there is that you're going to use Ragnar Lordmon to DNA with your Darkdramon and probably the Black War Greymon or Chaos Dramon, and then instantly now applying more pressure to your opponent. So now you get to Blitz, and then you get to Trash. So when Digivolving, for every 4 Digi-Evolution cards in this Digimon has, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost 20 or less, trash the top card of their security stack. So that is really nasty, and then trashing, you can get game that way. And then all turns when this card is removed from either player's security, when a card is removed from either player's security stack, unsuspend this Digimon. So if you can reset your damage to 0, or if you didn't even use Blitz, there you go. Your opponent has to answer it. Iron Fist Onslaught blows up anything. And then Kongu is just being Kongu. You know, shuts off your opponent's recovery functionality, especially against the Yellow Hybrid matchup, which is pretty much dead in this format once we get it. And then Izzy's just to set us to 3. Rio's just here to add a Drummon, basically filtering and adding cards up. And then when attacking, when you attack with a black Digimon, you may spend this tamer to have that Digimon plus 1000 DP until the end of opponent's next turn. Really powerful, especially combos in with the Cyber Dramon. And then Kazu's just basically draw, and then basically gaining us a bunch of memory for no good reason. And it's just really cool to see that going off. And then finally, you wanted to see it, Extramon. Extramon is really interesting this format. It's got a very solid lineup. It's got ways to getting evade, which is when this Digimon would be deleted. By suspending this Digimon, prevent that deletion. Which, why did it get a better version of decoy? So that's my big issue. That's kind of really ridiculous. Same thing with evade here, is you're just basically preventing its destruction really nastily. And then your turn, Examon in your hand may treat this as a level 6 Digimon for DNA Digievolution. And then end of turn, you may Digivolve this Digimon into one of your other Digimon with Drawmon in its name in play with a Digievolution card in your hand by paying its DNA cost. Basically, this is how you're going to get into Examon faster than most people can. And then you also do have Slayer Dramon, and then you do have Breaker Dramon doing the same thing, so that she's going to use Wing Dramon and Ground Dramon, or you can go up to making it Extramon. So that's just how that's going to be. And it's a very powerful deck just because it's got blocker, it's got ways of treating its level 5s as level 6s to get into your big boss Digimon, which is ridiculously strong. So, Examon, when Digivolving, you may place one green or blue card with Drawmon in its name from your hand at the bottom of the Evolution cards. Then, when DNA Digivolving, you may play one green or blue Digimon with Drawmon in its name and 12,000 DP or less from your hand without paying its memory costs. Really solid there. Extend your plays. All turns when this Digimon is suspended, unsuspend it, and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's really good because now you get more targets in going in. The reason why you're going to be playing Tidal Wave in this deck, choose up to 2 of your Digimon with Digievolution cards of one of your Digimon. Play them as other Digimon without paying their memory cost. On play effects activate, boys and girls, with that. So stuff to think about in this. But really what's nasty about it is, you know, you have stuff that just supports it because it becomes unsuspended, gain 1,000 DP here. Jamming Vmon. You have Sayoko for reduced cost, shut that down. Mondoke Beta to can't gain memory unless it's a tamer effect. Dracmon, being able to search basically anything in this deck is really important. New Dracmon, on play, reveal 4 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 green or blue card with Drawmon in its name and 1 card with Examon in its name among them to your hand. Return the remaining cards to the bottom of the deck in any order. And then once returned, when one of your Digimon with Drawmon or Examon in its name becomes suspended, this Digimon gets 1,000 DP. Really solid. And then you're Digivolving on top of your Tamers. You know the drill here. Core Dramon, I mentioned the evade, and it just gives evade. It's just really nasty. We have Core Dramon here, blocker, and it gives blocker. So both Core Dramons are really powerful. We already talked about Wing Dramon. We talked about Ground Dramon. Now Slayer Dramon. All turns, when this Digimon becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. It gets you a free, pretty much a secondary evade, which is dumb. And then start your opponent's main phase. By suspending one of your Digimon with Drawmon or Examon in its name, your opponent must attack with one of their Digimon, forcing the attack sooner than they wanted. And then start of your opponent's main phase. By suspending one of your Digimon with Dracmon or Examon in its name, your opponent must attack with one of their Digimon. So it forces the attacks, like I said, very much making it so your opponent doesn't have options out of that. And then you have Breaker Dramon. All turns, when this Digimon becomes suspended, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And then all turns, when one of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon in its name deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's security stack. So basically what you're going to do is get a blocker, restand, because Examon's going to play this from hand, which is the ideal target to play from hand, is really nasty. When one of your Digimon with Drawmon or Examon in its name deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, trash 1 in the top security stack. So basically, as long as you have 1 in there, 1 there, and basically that trade-off happens, boom, they're losing 2 security for no reason. Really nasty. And Ice Wall to slow things down. Mega Death to bounce and remove threats that you don't like. Hidden Potential, just because if you climb up naturally, you can just shut it down. Davis, the Search, because everything is a target in this deck. So it's great. And then Sora Joe, basically, since everybody's kind of playing stuff, they have to play around this, and they're not going to always be able to. Just something to think about. So guys, what did you think of all these amazing decks from EX3? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you next video. Peace!